Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're just waiting to go live on our other platform, and we're there. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. It is our fifth episode, and I'm pretty excited to talk about this. And I think this is a great episode to follow from what we talked about last week. But before we get into all of that, is just briefly, we are using a platform. I'm going to say this every week because I want everyone to understand and know. We can't see you, but we do know that you're out there, at least with hope. So if you are there and you're breathing and you feeling good today, go ahead and put a hey everyone, or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the chat, please. So just to let you know, we're streaming live on our personal pages on Facebook, our business page, Fly High NYC on Facebook. We also are streaming live on YouTube, who with our business page, Fly High NYC, and our personal IG pages. So you can see what those are within our handles. For all of our IG viewers, we love you and we welcome you and we appreciate you joining in. However, just letting you know with the platform we use, if you put a comment in there, unfortunately, we will not see it on our platform. We'll look at it after. We view and we give you a shout out after. So if you want to comment, go ahead and just go over to Facebook real quick, and
Or
you can put.
YouTube.
Oh yeah, or YouTube as well. We can retrieve comments from there, and it'll stream into our platform. So again, good afternoon, everyone. Before we get into it, hello, I am your co-host today. Oh, before I just want to welcome all the newbies. We do have a great people who always opt in and they want to receive notifications when we go live. We appreciate you riding with us for now 5 weeks. We appreciate you, and we're growing with the support. So thank you, and hello to all the newbies out there. Hi, good afternoon. I'm your co-host, KG.
Yes, and I'm Tamika Elaine. I see people are starting to join in. Hey, Jason, welcome.
Yeah, so today, well, let's talk about last week a little bit. So we talked a lot about relationships, how to develop those positive relationships in the realm of friendship, business, and romantic. So it seemed only right to talk about today the power of your energy, embracing that positivity, because you have to understand the kind of energy you give off and attract, and that really goes into how your relationships are, and that is with friendships, business, and otherwise romantic. So we're going to dive deep into that. So you ready, Tamika Elaine?
Yes, let's get the conversation started.
All right now. So I'm hoping you can't see my background because it's kind of cut off, but it really has on this side, it says good vibes only. So we want the positive vibes. But if you want to put something in there that's a little constructive criticism, it's all good too. You can also put that in the chat. Anything in the chat in terms of commentary or whatever from the viewers. And I also have on my other side, you can't see, about food. Food is good. I love some food. So it just makes me get all positive and everything. So I just had to bring that positivity that way. So let me ask you, Tamika Elaine, why is it so important to understand our energy? Why is it so crucial?
It's crucial because our energy, as well as the energy of others, can affect each other. If I'm having a great day, and then I interact with someone who's just seems, I don't know, maybe angry for no reason, maybe something's going on, that could possibly affect my mood as well. So
Mm.
that's why it's important to be mindful of the energy that you're giving off, being aware of that, because it can, disrupt other people. As they say, energy is contagious.
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive deep into that when we talk about that in our next segment, the attraction spectrum. And that is so true. And I actually take that kind of way of thinking, Tamika Elaine, because I mentioned, I think it was last week or whatever. Sometimes when I go out alone. And I want to make sure that, I can chill by myself. It's fine. I can, have fun by myself, but I typically may want to attract, a good conversation at the very least, or a good chat, or even a good dance if I'm out and there's music around. So I purposely go into a situation, especially when I'm alone, but I try to do this regardless of who I'm with. But I smile, I have an open stance, and just try to exude that I'm positive, talk that positive talk to myself so that it can permeate to other people. So I definitely utilize that in hopes to attract also some positive energy. And again, just like I said, it could just be some friendly chatter. But another thing that kind of reminded me, because we were recently on a fly high photo shoot together, and it was cold as hell, right? It was cold as hell. And there were two women who were taking pictures, but they had such positive energy, and obviously they wanted to look good and whatever. And even though we only just seen the raw pictures, you can just tell within the raw picture that positivity really reflected in that video or indoor pictures. So even when the situation is not optimal, if you bring that positivity, it can show it on like a piece of paper or whatever. It really permeates. So I just thought to throw that out there. But what about when you're a little blah and you're not feeling good, and you got that
I,
little
I
negative?
just wanted to step back because I've had that experience too in terms of not feeling totally like excited, and it's showing in the pictures that I
Oh,
have taken. So it definitely is important because it's like, if you're going through the process of taking photos, you definitely don't want to look miserable. And yeah, like Maurice said here, don't bring that bad energy here. All positive vibes.
yes, positive
100%.
vibes. Oh,
On down days, I guess it's more important to be conscious of that, right?
mm,
To be able to know what you're giving off and to try to take steps to, not carry that forward or let it show to other people. I mean, but I'm a little conflicted here because it's like, if you are going through something, you're going through something, maybe you just kind of step away if you need a moment or what have you, just so that you're not exuding that to others.
yeah,
Yeah, I see what Jason said. I stay home if I feel a little down. Exactly. Just kind of keep that.
yeah.
You can find tips, maybe listen to music, do whatever you can do or need to do to kind of like uplift your spirits. And I know we're going to get further into that a little later, but those are some
Yeah,
few quick things.
man. Yeah, girl. Because especially when you said the music thing, what? That is my upper. That is, I
Mhm.
put on music to help me. But like what Jason and you said, I know when I'm down, I actually become a recluse, or is it recluse? Recluse.
Mhm.
I stick to myself because I don't, want to share. But there are times I may reach out to a friend, if I'm really in need, like, hey, girl, I really want to talk about something. But really, 9 times out of 10, I just stay by myself because I figure I don't want to bring that negativity outside of what I'm feeling. And then I try to then just think about ways to just bring that positivity back into my realm, so just not to stay there. So yeah. And thinking about that, there are some strategies for shifting energies. Like what are some things you do, Tamika Elaine?
To shift my own energy, you're saying?
Yeah, like let's say if you down and about, but what do you do to try to get yourself back to a good state?
Well, the music is one, right?
Yeah.
Just talking to myself. I was gonna share this a little later, but back in the day, like when I was younger, there were times where I would just be in a funk for, I guess, no particular
Mm,
reason. I don't know why. And these things happened while I was out with friends and whatnot.
mm,
And at that time, I didn't really have, I guess, maybe the self awareness to kind of just know what to do. But as I've
mm,
gotten older, it's like, again, just stepping away, maybe go to the bathroom, just kind of
mm,
just remove myself because you don't want to affect other people. And just kind of talking myself out of it. So
mm.
those are tips for myself that I've done. What do you have tips that you want to share?
Yeah. I mean, what I do is, and I know we talked about this, like a lot of the mindful behavior. I really take time to do my deep breaths, and and try to focus on the positive. Exercise has also been extremely helpful for keeping my mental and positive energy intact. It really helps that, as well as just focusing on something that brings me joy. And it could be anything from some good food. And I keep going back to the good food. I swear they need to just make that a love language. I don't know why they don't just stop playing and make food a love language, because that is one. Or my son, even though it could be stressful, parenting is stressful, but overall he's just such a positive individual. So just focusing on different things that brings me joy helps me to get me out of there. So let's focus on to the next segment. Attracting uh the good energy, but also the bad energy. So how do we attract positivity and not the energy vampires? Like, what are some of the things you do, Tamika Elaine?
Well, I think what you give off often is what you receive back, right? So if you want to attract positive energy, you need to exude that, right?
Mhm.
Maybe associating yourself in certain groups or activities that make you happy. You'll find people, like-minded people, and that's another strategy for that as well.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, girl, I mean, that is right. Usually what you give off is what you attract. But a lot of times when you are a beacon of light and you're positive and you exude that positive energy, you not only attract other positive people, but a lot of times you attract those negative vampires as well. So, and,
Mm.
and in a way of thinking, I know we're going to go into how the energy can impact relationships, but that's something, especially ladies or anybody, should be thinking of when they are dating. And if they are exude positive energy and they're a beacon of light, you're going to attract a whole bunch of everything. So it's not really your fault if you attract bad. Excuse me. Excuse me. But it's totally up to you to choose who you go and fiddle around with, so it's totally your choice not to deal with the negativity. Once you see that, and I talked about like the core needs from last week you should be looking for in a man. Once you don't see that exhibit it, you need to exit left, like go. So when you are positive energy, I think you attract everything. You just have to be aware of that. What do you guys think in the chat? Like, is that true? Do you think you just I mean, if you feel like you're overall positive individual, do you attract everything, or do you just typically just attract like you just only attract positive? Let me know if I'm like off, but I think you just still attract everything. But
Well, while people are tuning in and getting their comments together, I think we can go on to relationships. So you teed it up, KG. Have you noticed ways in which your energy was either impactful on someone you were dating or vice versa?
wow. Yes, definitely. I think, regardless if it's friendships or
Mhm.
business or romantic, it is. And And I want to take a step back. A lot of this, a lot of people think that this energy talk is kind of wishy-washy, is BS, but actually is rooted in science as well. So I just want to bring to the forefront that there's been case studies shown on this from all different realms of basically, from the corporate to whatever. So really, so there's been case studies like on a college level that if you had an RA, for all the people who are not aware, resident assistant that helped to manage the floor. I think that's what they were doing in college. So if you had it was one case study that was shown at done at a certain college where if the RA just had all this great energy, positive energy, the people that were managed under him or her usually had the same kind of energy, or they saw things more positively, and they had a lot more of a better experience or a college experience while under that RA. So that's just one example. Another example, more on the, let's say, the corporate front, there's been studies shown that if managers or different leaders start meetings with a positive note or something, just talk about positive, whether in their personal or professional life, just talk about the wins and what's going right, it really starts that atmosphere of like, okay, we're positive, and well, they wanted to do other things and work with the team and things of that nature. So there's been a lot of case studies shown to really reflect or really support that positive energy really helps not only you, but it can really help the people that are in your vicinity. For like romantic relationships, they did, I think at the University of Colorado, they did something where they looked at different couples, and they found that when a couple is, let's say, one person in the relationship does something, whether it's a hobby or whatever, that the other person doesn't typically do, that other person usually wants to take part in it and go outside their will. And so really that that attract, well, hopefully it's a good thing that whatever they do they want to do, so it could be healthy habits or unhealthy habits that can go through relationships. So it really is real. I mean, I can speak for a relationship. I don't watch TV. Like 80% of the time my TVs are off. But my last relationship, the person loved TV, all types of programming, whatever. So whenever I spent time with him, I always found myself watching this and being engaged. So, I'm like, oh, what's going on there? But typically that wouldn't happen. So that's just an example. Like, yeah, he really had a presence on me. But I don't know. What do you think, Tamika and Lane? Do you think this is crockable, or is
I mean, I think the examples you provided, are very important and show. I mean, we know that energy, like you said, is contagious. So I think it just helps to validate that. Looking in the comments, I see one from Amira saying, it's possible to attract a lot, but knowing your boundaries helps to limit the negative energy. So that, goes towards what you were saying. And Vanette is saying she thinks it depends, which, yeah, it's kind of the middle ground there. Amira also says energy is the currency of the universe. And here's another comment here from Amira. To understand the universe, this is a quote, one has to think in terms of energy. So it seems that, there are a few of us who kind of understand this concept or believe in this concept of energy and its impact on others.
Yes, and then just to go back to what Mira said about boundaries, that is so crucial. There are certain things that I even put in my life in terms of boundaries to help limit the exposure of the negativity. Like, for instance, I do not watch the local news. I refuse, because there's just always some
Yeah,
negative.
I
Just
feel the same way about the news. It's
oh,
just, it's such a depressor.
it really is, or even certain posts on Facebook, sometimes I'm in the mood for like, okay, they just, they're trying to rile people up. But sometimes I'm just not in the mood to see certain content. So I'll just quickly scroll on by that day because I'm not trying to have that negative energy, whatever. Also setting boundaries when talking to people, like being around people that you love. Like, do you ever find yourself having to do that, Tamika Lane?
I'm not sure where you're going there when like, can you give me an example of
Yeah,
like where?
sure, sure.
Mhm.
Like, people that you talk to well, typically because, they're your family or, or a good friend, but sometimes they may be a sour sap. Like, how do you,
Oh,
like, Downy, Debbie Downey, or whatever it is, Debbie, or whatever. Yeah. So, how do
yeah.
you like,
I know what you mean. I mean, thankfully, I don't really have too many people like that in my life. I understand what you mean. But yeah, I mean, I think I would just limit my interactions, if possible. Some people, I
yeah,
guess you can't. If it was someone that I had to have this type of relationship with or had to be around often, had to communicate with often, maybe we would have to have a conversation, frame it in a certain kind of way to just, or try to get to the root of it and, ask them, is everything okay? Sometimes people are
yeah.
struggling with things that, you know, they don't share. And that's the reason for that energy that they're giving off.
That's a awesome point because I know that's one of the things that a lot of, like, psychologists, whatever, say that when you are talking to people who you do love and you want to still talk to, but you're just like, look, you a little too negative all the time. Like having what they call it, the positive sandwich, or having that talk
Yeah.
and framing it in that way where you first introduce something positive about, I really love you, I really enjoyed, spending time with you, and then you go into the constructive criticism. But lately you've just been a little, I'm keep hearing the negative, and it kind of is bringing down my spirit, and then you end with the positive. So let's work together, let's see what we can do. Maybe we can go out and like explore something new just to get you back in a, positive space. So really introducing that positive sandwich with people that you care about, really can help. But if it's people you don't care about, like you had a networking meeting and someone's just complaining about their dang on job, you just move away.
Right.
And let,
Right. Yeah, and Vonette brought up important point that yes, sometimes people don't know how to cope as the same as
mm,
others, right? So that's why they become these individuals that may be very negative because they don't know how to manage that energy and get back to a more positive frame of mind. And sometimes it may be just too much, right? So you just never know what someone is going through, right? But we would hope that they're able to get whatever help is needed, if it's something that serious.
yes, yes, yeah, and that's an excellent, excellent point. I hope people understand that there is help out there, and there's nothing wrong with talking with a therapist if you find that you can't get yourself out your funk, and talking with friends don't, it's not really helping as
Right.
well. So let's move on though to really just having some accountability for your energy. So how accountable, Tamika Lane, are we for the energy we put out, do you think?
I mean, I think we're totally 100% accountable for it. As I was sharing earlier, I had those moments where I don't know, just I would just be giving
Mm,
off this horrible energy for no particular reason. But I'm generally speaking a pretty laid back individual. I know you know this, KG. Any of my friends out there watching, they know this. I'm not the person that's gonna be, as I'd say, doing cartwheels or just like super bubbly. But it doesn't mean anything is wrong. That's just who I am, right? I
yeah.
mean, maybe some other people may receive it as me having like low energy, or I wouldn't
Mm,
say negative, but if you
no.
engage me in a conversation, then you'll just see, I'll open up. But just generally speaking, I'm just gonna be chilling, right?
Yeah.
when I think about it, I'm most excited when I'm like, say, at a concert. I thrive off of the energy of the
Yeah.
performer, the crowd, things like that. So I don't know. It's like most times, let's say 95% of the time, I'm just chilling. And then you may get a rare, from me. But don't look for it too often. But I think we're totally accountable. And like I said, if I feel that for some reason I'm in this place that just is not, positive or it's going to influence others, then I'm mature enough to just kind of remove myself. Have a good day. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go do this, or get off the phone, or just do something to not actually influence others with my energy. What about you, KG? How accountable, or what are some of the things that you do to kind of make sure
Um,
you're putting out the right energy?
so I mean, I do a couple of things. I've been on uh, this learning about myself for, especially, I mean, being serious about it for the last maybe 4 or 5 years. So I think I'm more conscious now. I purposely become more conscious. So whenever I step in a realm with other people, I vision, I try to, have the positive energy, but I look at how people receive it, because sometimes, like with communication, it's not what you say, it's how the person receives it. So
Mhm.
I look at different things like body, other nonverbal cues of the other people. Are they drawn to me, or are they trying to push away? And I proceed accordingly. If especially if it's overwhelmingly the majority are being like pushed away, then maybe something ain't right. Hopefully, I ain't thinking, not, so. But if you find that most of the people are drawn to you and are pleasant towards you, then you know that your energy is pretty on point. Or you can also, if you have some family and friends that you truly trust and you trust their judgment, go ahead and have those conversations with him and her and just say, you know what? You see me in different environments, publicly, or, just you and I. Do I give off an energy that you perceive as negative? And let's talk about that. I wouldn't do that with just anybody, because you don't know what kind of ulterior motives everyone has. But just have that kind of conversation with people you truly trust. That also helps if you're not that self-aware yet.
Right. I have one, I guess, question or comment about. So there's a subset of folks, my Jamaican folks, right? We've heard a lot about us and our customer service skills.
Oh,
Putting out some energy that maybe not favorable.
that.
Um, I mean, when we talk about accountability, I don't know, like we continue to patronize some of these establishments. I had a friend who was complaining, I'm not going to name which particular restaurant, but he was complaining about the customer service and just the rudeness and whatnot. And all I could say is like, well, then don't go there, right? Like, or maybe write a review or something like that. Especially when things hit social media, we know people tend to respond. So I think he did, stop going for a period of time, and when he returned, it seemed like, maybe there was some kind of feedback that was given to the staff, and things are a little better. But I don't know. That just made me the accountability for our energy just made me think of my people there, and just the feedback that most of us would have about them. I'm like, "Ugh, whatever, just
Yeah,
don't
I don't.
go."
Yeah, I mean, I guess that also brings up a point when sometimes you're not going to always expect positivity wherever you go. And sometimes you're just going to just like, okay, this entity or this person is who they are. I'm just going there. Like, if I'm going to a Jamaican restaurant, I'm not going there for, oh, hello. What can I do to help
You
you
just gotta be
today?
accepting of it.
Do you want a
Exactly. And that's the thing.
cocktail?
Right. If you're gonna complain about it,
Oh,
see, he was complaining and complaining. I'm just like,
oh
don't go.
my,
You have a choice, right? You know what you're
yes,
gonna get when you go there. Don't go.
yes.
Um,
Yeah, I'm going there for the food because it's good.
right,
That's it. You know.
right. It's so funny looking at the comments. Jason says in terms of energy, be you, don't force it. I think that was to me, which is true. I don't think I could force it if I tried, to be honest. Like, what you see is what you get. Um, I'm going to put up a comment by April. Our gut is a great indicator of our energy. That's great. Yep. Trust yourself
Mm,
and your feelings. 100%.
yes, yes. We need to trust our guts more. I'll take accountability for that. Sometimes that's kind of like red flags, regardless in situation. But go ahead, girl. I know you
Right.
put up another comment.
Yep. Another one by April. We can shift energy by going to a pleasant thought when we are around challenging energies.
Mm-hmm.
100%. That's kind of like what you were saying, KG, like about your son, thinking about things that make you happy to help
Yeah.
shift that when you're around challenging energies. Um, looking at Vonette's comment, guessing this is about the Jamaican restaurants. You activate your choice. 100%. If you don't like
Yeah.
the service, you're done.
Oh my God, I'm out. But I mean, I don't know. I won't say not. I don't know. I expect the root. I'm not going to expect anything warm and fuzzy. Just give me my food.
Well, KG, I think that's because you have a certain, these are your people too. So
I know 'em. I mean, that's so funny. I was in Jamaica last year. I couldn't believe the level of customer service at the resort. I'm like, what
well,
the?
no, see, that's always what I go to when people say that. When you go to Jamaica and you're at resorts, I mean, tourism is their industry, right?
Yeah,
So you're gonna
yeah.
get a difference there. Now,
But
maybe if
no,
you're in the,
sometimes.
just off the resort and just in a local restaurant,
Yeah.
maybe it might be a little different.
No, but I found like the regular people, when I was going and getting in cat, whatever, they were like nice and
Yeah,
talky. I'm like,
yeah. I've always been used to that there.
what? Okay.
So it's here in the restaurants that
Yeah.
it's a little different.
Oh, girl.
So, oh
But
my goodness.
another thing though, I wish people will understand in terms of accountability and energy, and this is a pet peeve of mine when people who are in the negativity and they always like to point out like, oh, that's a problem. This is not right. And yet they have no solution in place. So that I think that is something if you find yourself complaining all the time, before you open your mouth, try to think of, okay, this is bad, but we can do this better. I mean, that in itself kind of changes your negativity to a positive. I mean, it does. It changes negative to a positive stance. So I think that can help a lot of people.
I
Yeah.
think that's a great segue into the next segment about nurturing positive energy, right?
Oh yeah.
Trying to turn those negative instances into positives.
Yeah.
The with the affirmations, just being aware, focusing on more positive thoughts.
Yeah.
Anything else on your list?
Um, I just want to. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we heard this affirmation thing over and over," but I just want to give a testimony and
Okay.
about how effective it really is. And I'm going to throw my son out there. So, for instance, my son, who's only 8, right? I have him every morning recite affirmations. And this boy, I just told Tamika Elaine before the show, like he's one of the most positive beings I know in my life. I think he's like some old person who came back
Wow. I
and he's
love
just,
that. I love that.
but it wasn't always like that. It was
Mm,
times, not going into it, his father and I had some challenging times and it impacted him really in a bad way.
mm,
But I would say the last couple, 2, 3 years, him reciting these affirmations from everything. He loves his brown skin. He loves his hair. He has a fuzzy head, like, whatever. He loves his kinky hair. He thinks, he said, I'm handsome. I'm super intelligent. I'm a star student every day. I can do anything I put my mind to. All this. I'm safe and protected. He says this every morning, and it's to the point he really believes it. And then because of the fact he's a child, he hasn't had a lot of negativity to sway him differently, like us jaded adults.
Right.
But he actually, when he sees me down, he's like, Mommy, this we are in a wonderful life. We're so blessed and positive. You better get out your phone. I mean, he'd be talking to me, like preaching to me, like, okay, all right, all right. So I'm telling you, the affirmations, once you see it, it's best to do it in front of a mirror. You really looking at yourself, you saying you're beautiful, your skin is gorgeous, blah, 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 whatever it is, you'll start feeling it. And so that is something that can help nurture. And like I said, that's the testimony because I see it in my son. And another thing that I do that I actually do that helps right before any big meeting or even this live. Like I said, I am socially awkward. I'm shy. I know people don't want to believe that. Whatever. I am. I actually have to do like a minute of deep breathing. And I don't know, it's prayer, but I'm talking to the universe. I'm talking to God. Please, bless the words that come out of my mouth. Please let it help someone. Please let me and Tamika Lane be a value add in the instance of the lives and things of that nature. And that actually helps calm me and keep me focused. So that's something I do before any big meeting or even this live and things like that. So really having that 60 seconds of deep breathing and positive thoughts really can help. So that's some things I would say are their tips. I don't know, Tamika Lane, you have any?
No, nothing else. I just wanted to say those are excellent, excellent tips and examples, and thank you for sharing them with us. Looking at the comments, you see that it's it's resonating with the audience. Some who don't believe that you're shy, but it's okay.
I see.
We do put on masks though, right? Like we know
Come on now.
we have to do that often, right? So we don't let kind of our inner fears show.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, girl. Any final thoughts just looking at the audience in terms of this? Or any final thoughts from you, KG?
No.
Maybe we're gonna do this energy goal.
Oh, okay. Yes, everyone. We should all, I mean, if it resonated with you and you know yourself, everyone has room for improvement. If you feel that there's something that you want to do next week, you could just put it in the chat or you could just think about it, an energy goal. I do have one. What is it? I'm choosing to find the beauty in things, try to find a positive in every situation, even those situations that are noticeably bad. Like, oh, I'm late, but maybe I wasn't supposed to be there at this time because something was going to happen then, whatever. So just trying to find a positive in this situation. I don't know if you have a
Awesome. Amira says words are powerful, affirmations are wonderful.
yes.
I think for myself, in terms of an energy goal, I've often been told that I don't smile enough. So maybe I'll try doing more of that. Also, maybe I'll try to do an affirmation or two. You've been speaking so highly of affirmation. So yeah, I might think about that. Just see if it has some type of shift on my energy. I also think that, and you mentioned this earlier, sometimes your clothes, just different things can have an effect on your energy, your appearance. We try to bring a little color for this good vibes conversation. when you look good, you often feel good. So,
True.
to those of you in the audience, if you realize that there's been a shift in your energy and you may be looking for a fun way or out of the box way to reignite your spark, we encourage you to just schedule some time on our calendar. We'll drop the link for you and let us curate a glam escape photo shoot experience for you. It's sure to be a definitely a mood changer, an energy booster right here in New York City. You know, spring is right around the corner, so it's the perfect time to get a date on the calendar and, just be that star of the day, look fabulous, and just feel good about yourself again. So we hope that you schedule some time. You'll see the link in the chat. And next week, we're actually keeping on the theme of appearance. We're going to have a fun episode about discovering your personal style. So make sure to join in on the conversation. And until then, continue to embrace positivity.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining, and we shall see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Jason. We appreciate it. He said you did
Oh,
great. Keep up the, the great work.
thank you. We appreciate all the love. All right.
Yes, yes.
Next week. I'm excited about next week. Fashion, the do's and don'ts. Talking about body types and everything. And I don't know. You know how I can't, I was trying to pin while you were, but we're going to have a special guest. So, yeah, it's going to be really exciting, really exciting. So,
All right.
anyway,
Thanks, everyone.
bye.
Bye.